Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, stop oscillating. I've got micro oscillation. This is about why would you buy an older knife when you can get a brand new one? Let's say, both of these are Granddaddy Barlow's. And this one was given to me, but still, I've bought Granddaddy Barlow's before. So what do you get, with a new knife? Well, you get a new knife with no damage usually. It's brand new, and its character is going to depend on you. How much you use it, what you use it for, the little scars it picks up. When you get an older knife, a lot of times you'll see them, they're rusted, they got cracks. Let's see, I sandpapered this one down so it doesn't grab my thumb as much. They've got cracks, they're rusted, they're no longer made, basically. But what you get with an older knife, this is some oil leaking out because I'm still working on cleaning it. What you get with an older knife is character. Yeah, sometimes, people didn't take care of the knives and they rust, but once you sand it up, this is smooth. So all that is just character. Also, I noticed on this one right here that somebody smacked on the edge of the knife a few times with something metal. You don't get that from wood and everything. So this guy was trying to use his knife like, like a sunfish. Sit there and smack on it, and have it cut something. You can see from the kick that this is not going to be a good knife to do that unless you bring it off the edge, of a table, because you can smack all you want, you're not going to cut all the way through whatever you're hitting. But, the other thing, the main reason I got this one is, part of the collection and nostalgia, but I've bought other knives just because they're no longer made. Some of these knives, like, Toby sent me this one, but these are really cool. They're no longer made. You can get them. Gotta shake it. Oh yeah, it's this way. Gotta shake that baby. But they're really cool. This one was made in the USA, but the other one I have in the living room was made in Ireland. You don't have a whole lot of character with this one because it's in such a good shape. That's not scratched off or anything like that. Let me find another example up here. Like this old Camp King. Really the only thing that was wrong with it was a little bit of surface rust. You're also bringing back a knife that someone liked enough at least to carry, so they've got it's got the former owner's personality in it, and you don't know who that is, so a lot of this you just guess and make up. A crack like this could have been caused by dropping it. You don't really know. But what I like about it is this knife now is basically brought back to life because I've stopped the rust that was corroding it, left alone. If you ever see that series Life After People, eventually nature is going to reclaim, especially carbon steel and stuff, over time. So you're basically giving an old knife life again. And even though this is an inexpensive knife, once I've sharpened this thing, man, does it cut. It is a slicer. And a lot of times when you've got a big knife, like a survival knife or something, it's got a really thick spine on it and everything. So you've got a really thick spine that you're trying to come down to a really fine point with. And yeah, it can cut, but when you've got something with a lot thinner blade stock behind it, it just slides through that stuff. It doesn't have to push the material out as much, like a bigger one would have to wedge it, you know, they have to wedge their way through. But the narrower the wedge, the easier it's going to cut. Yeah, the steel is not a super steel. This is not 1095, but it will hold an edge long enough for you to cut. I mean, really, think about it. We always want major edge retention, you know. Like if you can get a D2 steel for the same price as a 440A or something, you probably go with a D2 because it's better edge retention and stuff like that. But if on the other hand, you're using this in an environment where you don't carry a sharpener, you don't have access to a sharpener, you can get this knife sharp a lot of times by just stropping off of leather. Now, yeah, that's, you know, your belt or any leather you happen to find, even cardboard, you know, you can strop a knife up without any compound and stuff like this and get back to a razor's edge. Now, if you're super steel, you waited too long, it's been a week and a half or something, and it gets dull, you're probably not carrying anything with you to sharpen it up, you know, because it's a super steel. You got all that stuff at home. So now you got a dull knife, and you're going to have a dull knife until you can sharpen it again. So that's one thing. The other thing, besides the nostalgia, is they don't make these anymore, you know. Yeah, you can get something like it, but they don't make them anymore. So there's a lot of these out there, you know. It's not like limited availability. I noticed that when Thrifty was talking about how he needed this number 29 Barlow, I went on eBay, and there are a bunch of different choices, but you really have to look at them. Some of them had huge cracks on the back. Some of them, if you look at the kick, the blade was like a quarter gone. You know, it was just sharpened down. Also, a lot of times when you see these Barlows, look at where the blade would normally land and then the shape that they're showing you. Some of them, they'll turn these things into like a sheep's foot or something and try to claim it's, you know, I don't know what they're doing. You know, it's eBay sellers. You've got some are honest and truthful about it, and other ones, you know, they'll never take a picture of this when they go to show it, you know, they'll just happen to show that and that, but they'll somehow avoid showing the damage, hoping that it'll slide by. I don't mind a little damage on older knives. Like I said, a lot of this stuff can be fixed. And it's up to you how you want to spend your money. Like I said, you know, if you decide that, hey, I want a Granddaddy Barlow, but I don't want to go through the effort and the time to fix up an older knife, well, that's up to you. You know, that's what you find enjoyable. I find it enjoyable to take an older knife that looks like it's been sort of neglected, you know, and stop that neglect. You know, stop the corrosion, polish it up a little bit. You know, it doesn't have to become a brand new knife again. You know, it just has to be a knife that you want to use and carry. Because with an older knife, you pull that out. I'm not really worried about impressing people and stuff, but it looks like you've had this knife for a while. You know, it's got some character to it. Yeah, you can just buy character. You know. You can just buy a used knife and get some character. It's got a good snap on it now. I was worried about maybe, you know, somebody had put that cotton piece of, it looked like a piece of a Q-tip down there. I was worried they put that in there to prevent pin wrap, you know, but it's not getting it at all. Right up here is where that pin corresponds with a high place on the mainspring, and it's not there. So you don't have to baby this one now. It got me. It is sharp. It is sharp. So Like I said, this thing is sharp. Oh, it likes me. You didn't have to do that, Mr. Knife. Well, anyways, yeah. So, for those people that say handling knives, you can get yourself cut. Sorry, I gotta bandage this right now. So yeah, accidents happen, man. When you handle knives, there's always a chance. What I did wrong with that one was, I'm gonna have to rewatch the film, the video, but when I was opening it like this finger got down here and sliced. So, it will cut. Yeah, always have some Band-Aids handy with you. I usually have them here, but the bathroom's only about like 5-10 feet away, you know, so I got in there and got some Band-Aids. I've got super glue around here. But anyways, there's some character for you. This little character decided to cut me. And part of it, like I said, is my own stupidity. And if I wouldn't have sharpened this, I don't know. It just did a little surface slice right there. You know, it just went through. So yeah, those of you who don't like blood, don't like seeing blood, you might want to reconsider your hobby. Because if you handle enough knives, sooner or later you're going to make a mistake. That's why I know this will not be my last knife cut. This will not be the last knife that cuts me. I try to avoid one of the worst ones was that little cub that got me right there, because man, I was cutting plastic towards myself, doing something stupid, and boom, I came back and that sucker nailed me solidly.